So we're used to saying that it is the beginning of a new era, and I'm pretty sure that it is now time to really characterize this new era. When it comes to Eurosatory, let's say that we've identified 5 structuring megatrends. Structuring this new era, they are structured, they are interdependent, they are combining with one another or opposing one another. The main trend is geopolitics, of course. I mean, it has been mentioned by Mr. Darmon. I would also like to mention that depending on the fact that they are symmetric conflicts, it will change the way we are living, and also we can see that there are new conflicts everywhere in the world, which means that those conflicts are becoming globalized. So the second megatrend is economic one. So when it comes to the economy, of course, it has been negatively impacted by COVID, by the war in Ukraine as well, leading to a recession, leading as well to an inflation. And as you can see today, we can see that we are the geopolitical struggle between the states, and that new blocks are opposing to one another. There is a BRICS enhanced compared with the G7. So other main trend, other than geopolitics in the economy, is the evolution of societies. There are more violent societies, more divided societies, more societies where populism is increasing, especially in Asia, and you can see that it is also a society where there are new communitarism. And then the third mega trend is climate crisis. Now it is really sensible, leading to a change of the humanitarian and environmental crisis, and leading to migration, increasing migration over time. So we should add as well that there is an ecocidal nature of wars, which should be taken into account. The fifth megatrend, last but not least, is a technological one, since we will have to deal with a new digital revolution, with AI, with quantum systems, with its tremendous opportunities that we're not able to measure at the moment, but also its weaknesses, its cyber weaknesses, and its total dependence on Asia, especially for rare earth. And also, in order to show how intertwined all those trends, I would like to highlight that the extraction of rare earth, which are necessary for the digital transition, are particularly ecocidal. So, phase 2 was observations. What are the challenges facing governments, for the state organizations, for private and public stakeholders in charge of protecting their population and territories? The first observation is that we should propose a global overview of our sovereignty, of what remains of it, and see how we could manage to reindustrialize those territories in order to get to have chosen dependence and not forced dependence. Then we need to rearm quite quickly. Not rearm the way we were doing recently. We need to face up to the risk of conflict in the context of new forms of warfare, with that are more deadly, with high attrition rates, and consume large quantities of munitions, leading to some sort of a war economy for states, should they want it or not, in the context or an unfavorable economic context. Then there is also something which is necessary for the states, which is that they need to ensure the protection of their citizens in the face of crime, of narco traffic, of non-right areas, in the face of riots, in the face of the high tensions in the population, and terrorism. The last challenge for Eurosatory is that the nations will need to ensure the energy transition of their states in order to face the future challenges, taking into account the climate change, which means that at the state level or the super-state levels, at the international organizations level, we should be able to increase the protection level of the citizens in order for them to better face the humanitarian and environmental crisis. And for the states, they should understand how they could manage immigration waves, because it should happen because of climate change, especially. As we can understand, those challenges are out of their usual scope, so they need to work at the international level. It is a case for the European Union, but also for other supranational organizations. So why is Eurosatory in the best position to meet the expectations of states for action on the ground and close to the ground? Firstly, because Eurosatory is the first to provide a deep analysis of this new era and of the new challenges that the states will have to face. I decided to provide a quick overview of this context, but we've identified at Eurosatory more than 50 factors clearly characterizing this new world we're living in. And because of that, we will have to provide new answers for the states. Secondly, the second reason why Eurosatory is at the best position to meet the needs of the states is that Eurosatory had to have the best positioning possible in the fields of defense and homeland security, but also for civil security and the assistance to the population. That's why Eurosatory is the unique defense and security trade fair to provide a global approach, providing high-intensity solutions for high-intensity conflicts and emergency medical assistance. Eurosatory is the trade fair show dealing with the management of all crises. The offer provided by Eurosatory is a comprehensive, chosen offer, a carefully curated offer. And at the moment, since we are 3 months away from the trade fair show, we have we think that more than 1,800 exhibitors will be with us. We need to integrate all the capacities. We will deal with the environmental system, with the land, the air, the sea, the space, and the cyberspace. Almost 50% of the companies exposing at Eurosatory will offer products for several environments. Those 1,800 exhibitors will represent more than 60 countries. It will represent all the defense and security bases in the world. It will represent more than 40 national pavilions, which are more than all of our competitors. It also represents only, but in a very responsible way. We know that 17% of the exhibitors are proposing lethal solutions. We are not only about armaments, we are really dealing with all the kind of challenges that the states can face. Another thing showing that it is a reference trade show. We are getting a lot of official delegations, 250, coming from 100 different countries. We will get 35,000 visitors, representing 20,000 visitors per day during the 3 days of the trade fair show. So that's why Eurosatory can say that we are the reference trade fair to be the best think tank to think about, to exchange on defense and security issues. It is also all about innovation. We are dealing with 500 innovations at each event. There are 2 startup presentation areas, since that there will be more than 80 startups in this trade fair show, which will be gathered together in order to introduce who we are. Eurosatory is also the best way to identify and present the different trends which are the current trends and the future trends. When it comes to defense, we will talk about drones in all their forms. We will talk about the anti-drone, the solar defense, the long-distance precision artillery. We will talk about the cyber and warfare, and we will talk about the resilience of the armed forces to the cyber attacks. And what will characterize Eurosatory in 2024 is the fact that the states will be able to face better destructive conflicts. they will be also able to manage those conflicts remotely, because when there is a lot of lethality in an area, men will combat remotely. It is exactly what is happening in Ukraine at the moment. When it comes to security, we will focus on the fight against drones, because we know that UAVs are, of course, a threat for the different countries. We will talk about the safe areas and cities. We should try to make them safer. We would like to talk about the protection of events. We will need to talk about data management and the use of AI in order to identify low signals which could lead to threats for a country. So as mentioned before, we would also like to present the future world's trends, but we would like to invent those trends as well. We are very proud at Eurosatory to invent a concept which obviously is meeting the expectations of the populations, of the states, of the international organizations, which means that we can deal globally with an environmental and humanitarian crisis quickly. So that's why at Eurosatory we will have a 2,500 square meters area dedicated to that in order to present the state-of-the-art technologies, allowing the states to imagine new forces, new armed forces, in order to protect properly the citizens. Do we have the right to die in a state where, if the state is able to stand forces, able to come back hundreds of kilometers away, and if it is able to face climate change? And we are seeing things beyond that. We think that we need to have planification, state-ridden centers, in order to see what is the historics of crisis, to really be able to meet quickly those immediate needs, and to foresee the way we could protect the populations and the environment. So I have to say that I'm quite proud of it. Eurosatory is also a way to deal with new crises and new topics. I've mentioned it earlier on, and we will have a concrete example with Ukraine. Is it possible to keep on thinking that the ecocidal characteristic of conflicts has and doesn't have an environmental impact, even though we know that conflicts could have a great impact on the populations and climate change? I think that this topic is crucial and that we should be accountable for that. Last but not least, Eurosatory is also a way to propose dynamic, high-quality demonstrations, offering a comprehensive demonstration of the capabilities of the French army, of the elite units of the internal security forces, and also presenting the different means proposed by the exhibitors. Eurosatory is also a new helicopter exhibition area in order to make sure that Eurosatory is really focused on the air and land protection of its perimeter. To conclude, I would like to say that we are dealing with a new world, with new challenges and new solutions. At Eurosatory, you're sure to find what you're looking for, and you will also find what you're not looking for, or not yet. Thank you.